Inside your sketchbook, you have 2 pieces of cardstock. For this project, you're going to use one of these pieces. The other one just keep in your sketchbook because you'll need it later on to keep your ink from bleeding through the pages. But for this project, you're just going to use one of these 8.5 by 11 pieces of cardstock. You're going to need the pen that I gave you. Some of you might still have the little red ball on the end. You need to go ahead and pop that off so that you can use your pen. And this exercise is really designed to give you confidence so that you can practice mark making confidently. Instead of making a lot of sketch lines, like when you're drawing, you know, you might be trying to draw a line and it looks like this. We're going to practice, once you put that pen down, do not pick it up. You're going to be making more straight, bold lines and not sketch lines. Do not do this. You know, where you're picking it up. You're going to be doing this, where you push down until you stop and you're done that line. Okay, so let me show you what we're actually doing here. First thing I'm going to do is draw a border that goes around the edge. I'm just guessing. You don't need to use a ruler. It is not going to be totally straight, and that is okay. I'm going to start here. I'm going to try my best to stay about 1 inch around the edge. Okay, so let's see. Here I go. Notice I put my pen down, so it's going to stay down until I'm ready to stop. Okay, now I'm going to draw another line. I'm going to cross here. Notice my lines aren't totally straight, and that's okay. This is art. Okay, and then finally this side. All right, so now we've got our border, and everything we're going to do is going to be inside of this border. So we're going to start by breaking a lot of this space up with lines. And again, once you put that pen down, do not pick it up until you're ready to stop that line. It's about right there. Then pick it up, okay? I'm going to divide all the space up into little shapes, and we'll be doing some different designs inside each one of these shapes. But I want to take some time to divide up my shapes first. Notice when I get close to ending my line how I slow down a little bit right here so that I can stop on that line. If you need to move your paper, please feel free. Whatever works, whatever feels better, moving your paper around. Okay, now I'm looking for big shapes. Like right now, this is a big shape. I want to divide that up. This is kind of a big shape. I want to divide that up. So maybe I can have one line come through here. These are kind of big. So let's see, maybe I could have one just kind of curve around here. Or let's see, what else? Maybe one that goes through here. You don't want to make any shapes that are really tiny. And if they're big, you want to break them up. So I'm thinking no smaller than maybe 1/4, the size of 1/4. Let's see, where else can I, maybe over here I could divide this space. Maybe this one right here. But when you start a line, don't stop until you hit the other side. You don't want to start a line and just stop out in the middle. You start on the edge and you end on the edge. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Let's divide it up pretty well. What we're going to do from here is we're going to start in any one of these shapes. It doesn't matter where, but you're going to pick a corner. Like, let's start right here with this little guy. And I'm going to pick this corner here. I'm going to start my lines in that corner, and I'm going to fan them out. Notice how they all start in the same spot, but I'm kind of branching them out until I run out of room and I can't do another one. I think that's pretty good. Now when I go to the next shape, like let's say this shape, do not use the same point. You need to pick a different point, any other point right now except for that one. So let's see. I think I'm going to start over here. So I'm kind of following the line right next to it. And that corner that I start at, it's going to get really dark because I keep drawing over the same spot. Take your time. Go slow. Try to get control. Remember, when you put that pen down, don't pick it up until you're done with that line. Now look, that's kind of wide. I could come back in here and add another one in between them. And if I just happen to, let's say, go outside the line, I would not worry about that. We can go back and fix that later. Just do your best to stay inside that shape, making lines. Okay, so now for this one, this shape is a cross from this one, so it is okay if we use the same point. It's just the two next to it that can't use that same point. If you're going across, you can use the same. So let me just go ahead and use the same so that you can see. Okay, so when I go to this one, you cannot use that one. That point. You're gonna have to use one of these other points. Now this one, I can use any one of those. I'm gonna start here in this corner. And again, remember, this is across from this shape, so it's okay if we use the same one. Now look, I just messed up. I wasn't paying attention because this is the same corner as this. So I totally messed up. What do you do? Okay, well this is something you can do. Once I realized I made a mistake, I'm going to take this outside line and continue it to the edge. So now that becomes a different space completely. So now they're not next to each other. So now with this shape, I can go from a different angle. I'll go from here. So if you mess up, it's okay. We're all human. It happens to everybody. Just figure out a way to go with it. Art and design is all about problem solving, and you'll end up having some little problems that you run across that you just have to figure out a different kind of solution, and that's okay. Great. Now that you're all finished and you filled in all of your shapes, it's time to go back and look at any areas you can go and clean up. You remember at the beginning there were a few spots where I went outside of the lines or I made some little mistakes. Now it's time to go back and really look at certain areas. I'm just going to show you this with the corner here. You can already see right at the border where I've gone outside the line. So what you can do with that, no, we're not whiting out. Remember, we're going to take our mistakes and we're going to do something with them. We're going to change it up just a little bit. So here, where you can see I've gone outside the line, I'm just going to make that area a little bit thicker. So I'm going to come in and just incorporate that into the very outside edge. You know, art is all about the details. Artwork that really stands out because people have taken their time to make it as best as they can. And so that's what we're going to do here, is just take a little bit of time to go back and look at areas that you might have messed up a little bit that you can make look just a little bit better. Because remember, it is a visual art. What it looks like does matter. So if you can go back and touch it up a little bit, you can. You know, little things like this, I could go back and just maybe make that a little thicker, make it kind of blend in so that the edges don't stand out. So take a little time, clean up your edges, do the best that you can, and then take a picture like I showed you before and how to upload and turn in your work.